Welcome back to Cocktails and Classics. This week we watched The Usual Suspects, and with us are the usual suspects. You got Zach,
Hi.
you got Ben,
Hola.
and we got Cam,
I don't
and
speak
myself.
in this part.
That's fine. And myself, Dylan. You know, I had this whole intro that I was going to say, and I totally fucked it up, and I'm sorry. I was going to say, number one, step forward. Say the line you were given.
Oh.
Why don't you start by how the podcast ends, and then we'll work our way backwards to it.
Excuse me? So, let's give our reviews right now.
He's saying that we should format the podcast in the same format as The Usual Suspects movie.
Okay.
Anyway, what do you guys give this rating? What rating do you guys give this movie?
What movie do I give this rating?
What?
It's a
I'm
close
gonna
usual
give this
suspects.
movie. I'm gonna
But
give
I'll
this
put
movie
it-
5 Indiana Jones out
Sorry,
of
this-
Jurassic Parks.
This week is fucked. I'm sorry.
It's been a rough 4 days now, I guess.
It's been a rough 5 months of elections since the vote was cast.
Bread and toilet paper are still hard to find. Everyone took the yeast. The results still aren't released.
It's more about the liquor. Everybody took all the liquor since Tuesday.
Everybody's making their goddamn homemade sourdoughs.
We still don't know who the president-elect is.
The homemade sourdough is actually really good. I'm not gonna lie. I didn't make it. Mona made it, but it was actually really good. But she didn't want to do it again, so she threw it out. Not the bread, but you'd like use it continually.
So this week for The Usual Suspects, we're sipping on the Manhattan, a classic. This is like, oh god, 1880. Sorry, not 1980s. That wouldn't make it classic. What am I talking about? I guess some of the movies we watch are 1980s, but 1880, as the story goes, in the New York City Manhattan Club. Over the years, this has dipped in and out of fashion before finding its footing as one of the cornerstones of the craft cocktail renaissance. This drink focuses on rye as your main ingredient. You get 2 ounces of rye, an ounce of sweet vermouth, 2 dashes of Angostura bitters, and a dash of orange bitters. And you get a Manhattan. We went with this because the movie jumps between areas. They don't drink in the movie really at all, so it's kind of hard to find one for this movie, but we just kind of settled on it starts in New York City, where they meet when they're pulled into the lineup. So New York City, Manhattan, we kind of cheated a little bit.
Sometimes you need to look for the usual cocktail.
This one's kind of good. I don't know, everyone says rye and bourbon taste different, but they have a similar taste to
They're
me.
definitely friends.
They're
very
definitely
close
different.
friends.
Oh, they're definitely different, you said.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, they are different. I guess people say, like, rye is spicier, which I definitely get that.
I
in
think
this
rye
drink.
is stiffer. I don't know.
It's different.
Like I think it tastes stronger. I think bourbon's just smoother than rye.
I like it. It's all right. It's all right. Would I order this again? Probably not. Am I going to have to drink another one because I already made 2? Yes.
The second one will be much
So-
better, I promise.
But I've just been being a little cheap ass using the same vermouth because I don't want to buy different types. I'm sure there's a big difference there, but I've just been using the Blanc that I got for the one we had a couple episodes
The Corpse
ago.
Reviver
Yeah, the Corpse Survivor.
from our
Night of the Living
Night
Dead.
of the Living Dead episode. And if you guys haven't heard that one, go ahead, finish this episode, and then take a trip through the catalog. Check it out.
That one is better than this one, though. So if you liked this episode, you're gonna love that episode.
And if
All
you
the
love
quality
that,
content here.
if you
But
love
if you
that
hated
episode,
this episode, you might actually like that other episode. So
and if you
go ahead
like
and
that
go
other
over there
episode,
anyway.
you will love our Jurassic Park episode.
Only in the Patreon.
that one will be released
April Fool's
when we
Day.
die.
As our 1,000th
We're gonna have to
episode.
remaster that one before we release it.
Remastered edition.
Classic remaster.
Remake or remaster, either one.
I'm gonna remaster it.
We could
we'll
revisit
remake
it.
Revisited. That'll be our season 10 finale.
We'll review
10?
our review of Jurassic Park.
Oh God.
I actually
Did anyone
would
else
love
make
that.
a Manhattan?
Yeah, Manhattan's one of my go-tos. Manhattan and an old fashioned. If I'm going to like a cocktail bar and there's no special that I like, that's definitely one of those two is what I'm ordering. I'm a big fan.
I just don't like vermouth. Just not
Yeah.
a fan.
Yeah, see, I like the rye aspect of it. Not big on the whole vermouth part of it, and it makes me not like it in general.
Interesting.
Hence the look on my face when I drink it, and it looks like I'm having a bad time.
Our listeners
Do you like wine?
won't see in your face.
I'm not a big wine drinker, no.
Okay.
That's why. That's a
That's
big
a
deal.
Yeah,
lie.
it's a fortified wine, so it's wine mixed
That I'm
with
not a
like,
big wine drinker?
I'm just kidding.
Well, that's
Oh.
why you don't like the vermouth.
Yeah, no. I'm trying. I'm trying to get more into wines to be a fancy boy, but
yeah.
I'm not there.
We got to get that Bright Cellar sponsorship.
Yep.
I know.
Or that
And in order to do
wine.com.
it, I have to pretend to like wine. So
Or even hitting back
Here
on
you
our
go,
Cherry
guys.
Republic
Here's-
sponsorship.
here's for the guys on the podcast and no one else because they won't be able to see it, but my this tastes icky face.
I hide those all the time.
Would you have rather had a pale ale?
Yeah, would you rather had Founders?
No.
Or-
No, I would not have rather had a pale ale. We'll get to that next episode.
Oh, is this the
The egg white. And,
yes. No. That sounds disgusting, but
Yeah, it's better than the alternative. I'm sure. I'm sure.
the real thing.
So I've been told.
So I've been told.
If you make a Manhattan, send us some photos. No one's sending us any photos of their drinks.
Don't be a victim.
Check out the recipe in the show notes below. I'll leave a link there. It'll take you to the page. You can read a little bit about the Manhattan and find out how to make one yourself. And if you do, send us pictures on Instagram at Cocktails and Classics Pod. Use the hashtag Cocktails and Classics. We'd love to see what you make and hear your thoughts on how they turn out. And if you haven't seen the movie, we're about to spoil the shit out of it. And this is one with a big twist. So please watch the movie before.
Snape kills Dumbledore in the end, so sorry.
Oh,
fuck.
God. You son of a bitch.
Spoiler, sorry.
The Usual Suspects is a 1995 crime mystery neo-noir thriller directed by Bryan Singer, great guy. Written by Christopher McQuire. Stars Kevin Spacey, great guy. Gabriel Byrne, Chaz Palminteri, Benicio Del Toro's in there. Kevin
Really?
Pollak, Stephen
Really?
Baldwin.
Chaz Palminteri, you're gonna give the shittiest pronunciation to, but Benicio Del Toro, you're gonna go ahead and act like you're a fucking
Dylan
fancy
is a
boy.
big Benicio Del Toro fan.
I know,
I
but
am,
it's the fact
actually.
that like
He's a
I
giant
fucking love
hard-on
special
for
Charlie
Benicio Del Toro.
I know,
Love
but
Benicio.
put some fucking respect.
Like,
on
don't
that.
even bring up the movie Sicario, okay? Don't even talk about it. Because then we'll spend the whole podcast.
Don't even
with
bring
Dylan
up The
talking about
Last
Sicario.
Jedi. Don't even bring up The Last Jedi. I will. Oof. This movie is the story of sole survivor who tells his story to a detective in a police department following a horrific incident on a boat where there was a gun battle and a fire and a dude pissing on fire. Currently sits at an 8.5 out of 10 on IMDb. Number 32 out of 250. It won 2 Oscars, Best Actor in a Supporting Role and Best Writing Screenplay directed directly for the screen for Kevin Spacey for acting and Christopher McQuire for writing.
Speaking of which, before we talk about the movie, I feel like it's good to get it out of the way.
Kevin Spacey and Bryan Singer are both pedophiles and they're terrible people.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
that's what I.
That's the twist.
So
It took like 25 years, but we found it.
I just want to acknowledge that while this is a good movie, in my opinion, the people who are involved in making this movie are bad people, and they did a lot of awful things to people. And so, you know, there's a discussion about whether you can separate the art from the people that make it. I'll leave that up to you, but, you know, for all intents and purposes, you know, we recognize that that they are bad people that did awful things.
It's like the second worst thing Kevin Spacey did after all the sexual assault stuff is the fact that now I can't even enjoy his movies.
I know, it sucks. Like, it's definitely way far down on the list at number 2. Like, number
Well, I don't
one's
know
like
if there's
way up
much in
there.
between it. Like, what else has he done, you know?
Well, there's
I don't
no-
know this
yeah.
guy. Diddled kids
I'm just saying,
and
like,
then made
that's
movies.
really
That's all I know
awful. But
about him.
then, like, you know, taking a back seat to him doing all those awful things, like, way, way in the back is like,
All right, you
his
put other
movies,
stuff in
all his
between.
art's now tainted.
I'm not saying this is an American election where it's like a close race. This is like a very separate 1 and 2 situation.
Yeah, there's stuff in between, like jaywalking, flipping off
What?
old ladies.
Oh,
Didn't parallel park correctly.
Yeah, the unpaid
Yeah.
parking tickets. Monster.
Parked more than 12 inches away from the curb. Yeah.
and then Ben can't enjoy his movies. Like,
Now I can't
Way
enjoy
down
his
there.
movies.
yeah.
Or his TV shows. The first couple seasons of House of Cards were good.
They were
Good
good.
TV.
Yeah.
Turns out he's like that in real life, though, which is really the sad part.
He also
Yeah,
played
himself.
Lex Luthor. And
Yeah, it
Spider-
turns out he didn't really
In
need to act
Superman
that
Returns, guess who that movie was directed by? Cough, cough, Bryan Singer.
really, I did not
much.
know
Yeah.
that.
Yep.
Yeah, he did the X-Men ones too.
Yes,
the
he
early
did.
ones.
Kevin Spacey also in L.A. Confidential, which is another movie I think we'll at some point get to. Kevin Spacey's in so many movies that I like, and it
He is. He's in 7.
I don't know if anyone's seen it. It's not on the list for the podcast, but Beyond the Sea is a biopic, like a musician biopic he did like a long time ago before it was a huge thing. And really great movie, but I feel like every time I watch it, I feel dirty.
So this is going to be a podcast all about how Ben can't watch the movies he loves anymore.
That's big sad.
Moon. He was the voice of Gertie in Moon.
Can't say I.
Like I said, I think there's a discussion whether or not you can separate.
He was in Austin Powers Goldmember.
What?
Yeah, he plays himself when they cast the Austin Powers movie. He's cast as Dr.
yeah.
Evil.
Jeez.
in Austin Pussy.
I swear, he just plays himself in all these roles. Yeah, it's just, I don't know. I think that's a tough one to answer, and I don't really know a good answer for that.
Honestly, I subscribe to that. You cannot separate them, especially when you think of like, I mean, the main one is like Woody Allen.
Yeah.
When you look at Woody Allen's early films, like they're literally about like older men and young girls.
You
And
know.
I'm like, you know, when you're talking about, same with like Louis C.K., you know, it's like
Yeah.
the dude literally has jokes about like whipping his dick out in front of people, and it's like
And then
there's
he-
always truth into the humor or into the art somewhere. So it's like
Right,
that's
and it's-
where it's
Really gross because it's not like when that stuff came out, it was like, that's an awful thing to do. But is it really surprising? Because he literally told us all that he does this. And we thought he was kidding, but he was not kidding.
So in bringing it back though to, you know, I understand someone like Woody Allen, who's the director and kind of the creator on a lot of his stuff. You talk about Louis C.K., Chris Brown, terrible person, whatever. But when you look at someone like Kevin Spacey and you look at, and this is at least me specifically, the movies of his, not of his, the movies he's in that I enjoy also have such other wonderful actors in them. Like this movie, you look at L.A. Confidential, and the cast in those movies you look at and you're like, these casts are phenomenal. And now this guy ruins it for everyone else. Is that fair? Can I not just watch the movie and be like, wow, this was a good movie? Kevin Spacey's still a piece of shit,
I feel like
but
that's
it's
the
a good
difference
movie.
between like music and like film or TV. It's
Like,
like there are so many other people like on screen and involved in this.
it's a
than-
collaborative effort.
Yeah.
And like I said, it's one thing if, you know, it's like if we were to find out like George Lucas is a monster, like,
I mean, he did create Jar Jar Binks. That's
Jar
pretty
Jar's a
bad.
blessing.
I don't know. We did get off-brand Baldwin.
whoa,
Who
whoa,
is off-brand Baldwin?
whoa.
Steven.
One,
Right, but which
Nick
one is
Manis.
that?
Nick
Manis.
Manis.
I didn't know that.
whoa, check yourself. It's level B Baldwin. We still have William, and there's a fourth one, but I don't remember.
Yes, the one that's in Vampires, John Carpenter's Vampires. Which one is that? Hold on.
Yes. Is that Daniel Baldwin?
Yes, I think it is Daniel Baldwin.
Yeah, quiz me on my Baldwins, bitches.
Yeah,
Fuck
Daniel.
Is that shit?
We're about to.
At least Steven doesn't really look like a Baldwin, I guess. I don't know.
He looks Baldwin adjacent.
Yes.
Cameron, your first time watching The Usual Suspects. I think everyone else here has seen it. What did you think? What were your thoughts on The Usual Suspects?
I don't know why, but maybe I've like heard of it before, but so going into this movie, I either forgot or didn't know that Kaiser Sose came from this movie. And simultaneously, when that information was revealed, for some reason in my brain, I was like, Kevin Spacey's character is Kaiser Sose. I have no idea why. I don't know if I've like heard of that before or whatever, but somehow I was just like waiting for the reveal at some point in time because I was like, I feel like it's coming. It's not obvious when you watch it. So like I must have heard it or seen it at some point in time, but like, yeah, other than that, I thought it was a really good movie. It was one that like kind of kept you on edge and you kind of thought you knew where it was going until the very end. And then it really just like flips around and goes in a completely different direction. Yeah. And it does that. Yeah. It does that a couple times, I think. Cause like, you know, it's like, oh, he's just telling a story. And then all of a sudden there's this new mysterious Kaiser Sose character, which, you know, kind of pops up and he's like, does that name mean anything to you? And then it like kind of changes into this like, he kind of changes it into like a horror story, not horror, I guess, but like one where like they were fearing
boogeyman.
for their life. From,
He's the devil.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
He's like Batman.
Well,
Evil Batman.
Okay, let's reel it in.
Well, in the sense of like, you know how Batman has this
kind of like a myth.
persona. Yeah.
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 Okay.
So everyone
I'll allow
like
it.
fears him because they're like, oh, the Bat does these things. He is fear.
I'll tell you this: I don't believe in God, but I'm afraid of him.
Batman or Kaiser Soze?
I believe, oh wait, shit, I messed the quote up. Keaton always said, I don't believe in God, but I'm afraid of him. Well, I believe in God, and the only thing that scares me is Batman. I mean, Kaiser Soze.
I think the twist in this movie is kind of at the point where it's kind of like The Sixth Sense, but I feel like you know what happens though. I feel like Memento maybe not because it's not that like
Yeah, it's not as popular, but
The Sixth Sense.
I think this is one where
The Sixth Sense is up there with that. Yeah.
The twist is just as popular as the movie is.
Or even like Inception, where it was all just a dream.
I think you meant Shutter Island.
Oh, I remember watching Shutter Island on Comcast.
Okay, that one was actually a good twist at the end. That one was good.
What was Comcast's like digital thing? Like, was it just called On Demand?
Xfinity.
I think it
On
might have
Demand,
just been
yeah.
called On
Xfinity
Demand.
It's on demand,
I
yeah.
watched it on that. That was good.
Shutter Island, the twist at that movie was good. I haven't seen that movie in probably like, I don't know, since whenever
Since
it
it
came
came
out.
out.
But, yeah.
Yeah, I've never seen that movie because I called the ending before I'd even seen it, and then I was like, well, there's no point watching this.
I don't think that's true. I think the
It's all right.
journey getting there is
I
pretty
was,
good.
Isn't that Martin
high
Scorsese?
school.
Yeah.
I think so. I was in high school and someone says I just saw the movie and I was like, yeah, I know how it ends. Oh, really? How does it end? And I whispered to him and I was like, he's insane. He's the one in the insane asylum. And they're like, how did you know? I don't know. Just kind of figured it out. It made too much sense. From then on, I was like, well, no point seeing this.
Maybe you've just seen too many twist movies. Like when I watch like crime shows, like sometimes I'll just like, I've never seen the particular episode, but I'll just like say the next line right before they say it sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
Just because it's
It's
like,
so
you know,
formulaic.
Formulaic, exactly.
I hate movies that kind of like do the twist just to do it, you know? Like every fucking M. Night Shyamalan movie since The Sixth Sense.
Yeah.
But
It's a twist.
you know, yeah, sometimes when it works, it works, but other times you're just kind of like, all right, well,
I'm not a fan of the like M. Night Shyamalan type of twists where like that's the whole movie. But
Yeah.
But this
Hey.
one I think does it really well.
Don't take your headphones off and walk away, because that's how you say the same thing Dylan said 2 seconds ago.
Oh, sorry.
that's fine.
I was
Yeah,
turning
he said
off
it-
the
he said
fan.
it.
I forgot I had the fan on above
No,
me, and
you're
I
fine.
didn't
We're
want
gonna
that to
add some
cause
fresh
noise.
new content into this episode, Cameron.
Good.
What a
I knew
riveting
Dylan was
discussion.
talking about that, but I didn't know that he referenced that specifically.
Oh, immediately.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about. I was like, I kind of hate like
Yeah, it was
movies
like
that
word for
like
word.
twist. Yeah, twist for the sake of being a twist. like M. Night Shyamalan.
LOL. Well, sorry.
Do we have any memorable scenes in this film?
I always liked the is it like the hotel when they're going through is like the cleaning crew. It's just like such a heist movie scene, but I love it so much.
There is. This movie kind of switches genres a couple times, I feel. Like an interrogation type of movie. And it's like neo-noir. Then it's a heist movie. It's very, and I like a whodunit sort of, because I feel like you get that whodunit when, is it Kujan, the detective from, oh fuck, what is his branch?
Oh my god, I'm so frustrated that I can't
Isn't he
figure this out.
FBI?
No, that's
Oh no, sorry, he's customs.
Customs, that's what it is. Yeah, I was gonna say it's like imports or something. I work in
Yes.
imports and exports. Kujan, the detective in customs, he's kind of like deducing everything, and he just totally misses it. It reminded me of the Ryan Johnson movie. I am blanking on everything tonight.
Knives Out.
Yes, it kind of reminded me of Knives Out, because at one point, spoilers for a totally different
Have
movie.
you guys seen this movie?
Has everyone
Should
seen
we
Knives
spoil
Out?
a different movie that came out not too long ago?
We gave a
I feel like
spoiler
we shouldn't.
warning.
It's been told.
Yeah, but then how? Yeah, I don't know.
Skip ahead 15 seconds. Daniel Craig's character completely deduces something wrong at one point, and you're just kind of like slapping yourself in the face. And I felt that here, in a sense. I mean, I obviously knew the twist because I've seen the movie before, but it does kind of like lead it in a way where you're like, you kind of can tell a little bit that Spacey is Soze.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say the only thing that you can really, I think the biggest tell was him insisting so many times that he knows that what's his face is dead. I think that was the biggest tell. Like he was very sure of it, but then
that Keaton was dead.
yeah, like he was like, I'm sure he's dead. He's like, I saw it. I mean, he says I saw it, but like he's like, I'm sure he's dead.
The thing for me was, I was like, man, it's very convenient that he's the only one not doing anything else while everyone else is getting killed. But it does like cut back to him like doing the other thing because he's retelling it, so you can't really trust him. But yeah, it does. It is like, oh, this character was looking at the money and he turns around and he's shot, and you're like, oh shit. And then it like cuts to Kevin Spacey like hiding behind the boxes, and you're kind of like, huh, is it another person or is it him?
Yeah, it's one of the best parts of the story being told, like the movie being told from Kevin Spacey's point of view, is he can just make up little tiny falsehoods to the audience, like to the people watching it, and it fits in perfectly. I don't think this movie really has a gotcha where, oh, it actually couldn't have been Kevin Spacey because he was in this spot when this thing happened. And like, no, it all comes from his perspective,
Yeah.
Right. He's basically the definition of an unreliable narrator because he tells this story and like honestly, even at the end of the movie, you don't really know what details he fudged and what he didn't because, like obviously a lot of the names were wrong. His random anecdotes were obviously either false or not, or misled or whatever. But we know that guy exists, that lawyer guy theoretically exists.
We know Kobayashi exists, but his name probably isn't
Right.
Kobayashi.
Right, because that's the name on the mug. So
Yeah.
I would assume that it's not that. So it's interesting. I don't know how much of this story is like, even at the end, you can't tell what's fabricated and what's real.
Yeah. The part when Kuyan turns around and he sees all the like words and like names written on the board, even though I knew he fabricated everything, I had forgotten that he like is getting everything from there, and it just is like,
Yeah.
oh my god, like blows your mind.
That's the thing that's so, like, when you're looking at it and you're like, you realize he's weaving this entire story off the top of his head. Like, he's just like, oh, point this detail out, reference it as a sidebar to the story, and then
Well, it's
this,
interesting.
that, and the other thing.
It's interesting because it feels like he's kind of feeling him out at first when he tells us like really random like one-off stories. Like it seems like he's kind of feeling him out, seeing like if he can just kind of, bullshit. Yeah.
I mean, the opening scene to me, once you finish the movie, is
Yeah.
that is the entire movie right there. That opening scene. I can't feel my legs. Kaiser.
Huh, I wonder why he can't. Huh, I wonder what that's in reference to. No, son of a bitch. Yeah, I will say that's kind of the fun thing about going back and rewatching this movie is that it's like most mystery type movies where you kind of try to pick up the clues and stuff of where you might notice something different or something that leads to the big reveal at the end, which we've already said, spoiler alert, that Kent is Kaiser Soze.
You kind of hope, I feel like, that he gets caught at the end. Once he loses his
Limp.
limp, and he
slowly
starts to walk in a jaunt. Yeah. And you're just kind of like, oh shit, he's gonna get away. And then like the car pulls away and the camera pans over to the cop, like looking the other direction. You're like, shit, you missed it, dude.
That is a good line, though. He says something like, once I leave here, you'll never see him again.
Yeah, it's like what is it? The greatest trick the devil ever pulled
was convincing the world he didn't exist.
Yeah, I also like
And
the
like
That's
that.
the quote of this movie.
yeah. I
He's
mean, that's
gone.
definitely the like most popular quote from this movie. I also do like the other one, kind of in tandem with that, where he's like, I mean, obviously it was a fabrication, but he's like, why didn't you shoot him? He's like, how do you shoot the devil in the back? And what happens if you miss?
Yeah, and he's got his hand is like messed up. He has like 3 fingers that he can't extend or something. Like when
I think it's
He was
supposed to
making
be-
devil horns, I think.
Was he?
I thought. That's what it looked
No.
I
like.
thought it was
I
like
think-
his like trigger hand,
I-
but
Oh,
Wait,
that
are
could
we
be
talking
true
about
too.
verbal?
Maybe I didn't understand
Yes.
that part.
Oh, I think it's that he's supposed to like be having like cerebral palsy or something,
Oh, okay. Yeah, maybe
Yeah.
I misinterpreted that.
which is why he can't walk right.
Yeah.
yeah, because like once he leaves the place and he loses his limp, he kind of like stretches
He
out his fingers.
stretches his
Yeah.
hand out, and then he's like fine, because then he pulls the cigarettes out. And then
Right.
I do like a line from Cujon in this movie. First day on the job, you know what I learned? How to spot a murderer. Let's say you arrest 3 guys for the same killing. You put them all in jail overnight. The next morning, whoever's sleeping is your man. You see, if you're guilty, you know you're caught. You get some rest, you let your guard down. Which is funny because he's telling Kevin Spacey's character in the office, and like he has no idea that this is his guy sitting right in front of him.
I know how to spot a murderer. He says to the murderer that he does not know.
I just love the lines Kevin Pollak gets in this movie. He gets so many like great like clapbacks. Like I can put you in Queens on the night of the hijacking. Really? I live in Queens. Did you put that together yourself, Einstein? What, you got a team of monkeys working around the clock on this? Or then he says something about, do you know what happens if you do another turn of the joint? He goes, fuck your father in the shower and then have a snack? Are you going to charge me, dickhead? It's just like, damn.
Yeah, he's got some good ones.
Mine, my favorite line was, "Give me the fucking keys, you fucking cocksucker, motherfucker."
Oh my god.
5 times.
Which
Yes.
I think I'm hoping this isn't a quiz question, but I'm pretty sure that was like improvised, and that's why they all broke, because he wasn't supposed to say it like that, and they were basically all just kind of fucking around on set, and that was what they kept. That's why when Benicio Del Toro goes to say he's laughing so hard that you can't understand him.
His
Interesting.
character is like
Can't
It's
understand
very
him.
interesting because you can't understand anything he's saying.
He always
but that's
plays
like
that character.
part of the character.
Benicio del
Yeah.
Toro always plays a character that you can't understand what the fuck he's saying.
Whoa.
I mean, I'm not saying he's bad. I'm just saying that, like, every role I've seen him in, he plays that character.
You are a criminal. Why you gotta go and do that? I'm trying to make a point.
You can understand him in the Heineken commercials.
Maybe.
True.
They paid extra for that.
You have to unlock his normal voice. It's a microtransaction. Costs money.
Now you gotta unlock it in a loot box, so you gotta pay a lot of money to get it. Yeah, it's only like
it's in a Madden Ultimate Team Pack. You gotta keep buying until you hit it.
it's like a 5% chance.
Oh, what's the other? There's another line Hockney gives. It's him and Finster. Oh, it's when Finster says, "Man, I had a finger up my asshole. I had a finger up my asshole tonight." And Hockney just replies, "Is it Friday already?"
God.
He just has the funniest lines in this movie.
So this week's podcast is brought to you by Surfside Sips. They make high-impact glass straws. They're a family-owned company. And And what's better than saving the turds, you know?
The turds.
The turds.
You know, I'm one of those people who hates using paper straws. Paper straws fucking
Paper straws suck.
I
They are
love
the worst
what
solution.
they do. I love that we're minimizing the use of plastic straws. I enjoy that. Paper straws suck ass.
They suck. They are the worst possible solution because turns out, guess what? Paper and water don't fucking mix, okay? I don't know who came up with it, but it doesn't work. Even though they put coating on it to try and help, it doesn't work. It just gets soggy and you end up throwing it away anyway, and that's just more waste. And so,
But you know what doesn't get soggy? Glass.
yeah.
Glass straws from Surfside Sips. And if you want to get some glass straws from Surfside Sips, you can use coupon code cocktails and classics spelled out. That's cocktails AND classics for 20% off your order.
And if you're looking for a business to support during this time, seems like a good idea. Today's episode is brought to you by Audible. Audible is the leading provider of spoken word entertainment and audiobooks, ranging from bestsellers to celebrity memoirs, news, business, and self-development. But essentially what it is every month you get 1 credit to pick any title, plus 2 Audible originals from their monthly selection. So, Dylan and Zach, what are your experiences with Audible?
So, working from home nowadays, I recently used Audible to rip through one of my favorite book series. It's always great to go back and revisit some of your favorites.
And since we've recently done From Russia with Love, you could check out some of Ian Fleming's books on Audible. They have Dan Stevens, Toby Stevens, Damian Lewis, many great narrators. Read through Diamonds Are Forever, From Russia with Love, Live and Let Die. So maybe you want to get into the James Bond novels as well as the movies.
To start your free 30-day trial, go to audibletrial.com/cocktails and classics, all lowercase. Again, that's audible.com/cocktails, AND classics. After your free trial is up, it costs $14.95 per month. However, there are no commitments, and if you can't decide what to listen to, that's okay. You can roll your credits over up to 1 year.
A little bit of a tradition around here is Zach puts us through a trivia quiz. So Zach, what do you got for us?
We're not playing any of that shit this week. Question number 1. The title of the movie. The title of the movie comes from a famous line from what famous movie? A. Casablanca, B. Citizen Kane, or C. Miracle on 34th Street?
I don't know. I mean, Usual Suspects. I feel like I would have seen that or heard that in Citizen Kane. What were the Casablanca and Miracle on 34th Street? I don't know what that one's about.
Oh, that one's, we'll do that one in December.
It's a Christmas movie.
I mean, I guess I'll say Casablanca, but I don't know.
Man. I'm racking my brain here, but I think it's Miracle on 34th Street.
Dylan, you want to tell the people at home?
Yeah, it's Casablanca.
Nice.
I in my taking notes for the film, I always pull up Wikipedia and IMDb, and that's like one of the first.
Hey, let's
lines.
shit on Dylan for looking
Yeah,
at
one of the
Wikipedia before
you,
the
Dylan.
show. Hey,
Fuck
do you
you,
guys
Dylan.
all want to shit on Dylan
Hey, you
for
didn't give
doing
me time. You
basic
didn't give me
fucking
time.
research for the show?
Hey, Sherlock Holmes, calm the fuck down. You know there's a quiz, right?
That's like the first line on the IMDb
Hey,
for Usual
hey,
Suspects. It's so stupid.
Fucking brown noser.
I don't actually care.
No,
It's,
I'm
it's
just saying.
Captain Reynolds.
You know how much
in
research I do
the
for this
movie.
podcast? None. Out of respect to the viewer.
You and
listener.
me
What?
are highly different, my friend.
The film began as a title taken from a column in Spy magazine called The Usual Suspects, after one of Claude Rains' most memorable lines in the classic film Casablanca. And Singer thought it would make a good title for the film. That's like the 4th line on Wikipedia for some reason. Sorry, Zach, to spoil your quiz.
No, you're good. We have a 2-way tie between Cameron and Dylan. Question numero 2. Which of the following actors was not offered the role of Redfoot? A. Johnny Cash, B. Charlie Sheen, or C. Al Pacino?
Who was the actual actor? Is it somebody I should know?
Some rando.
Okay.
I think. I don't know. I don't know who he is.
Let me double check.
Yeah, it wasn't somebody I recognized like off the bat, so.
No, Kevin Spacey was one of those guys too. Like he wasn't really well known when this movie came out.
No, apparently this movie kind of launched his career.
Peter.
I was gonna say Peter Green?
He's the dude that was in The Mask with Jim Carrey. He's the bad guy in The Mask.
Oh. Benicio Del Toro he wasn't in much before this either, was he?
No, I don't think so.
Looks,
I don't know. His first
he looks
movie.
young as shit, yeah.
Anyway, Dylan, what do you think about this one?
I don't know. What do you think, Cam, about this one? So who was it? Johnny Cash, Al Pacino,
Or Charlie Sheen.
Charlie Sheen.
Charlie Sheen in the 95? That seems early.
No.
Major
No.
League came out in the same year.
Oh, okay.
I mean, Charlie Sheen was in Platoon, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was
Yeah,
in
that's
Platoon
true.
before this.
Yeah, you're right. Okay.
It's like in the
I'm gonna
70s.
I'm gonna say Al Pacino. It seems like he would have been
No,
too
Platoon
old
was
for
not in
that
the
role.
70s,
Okay.
Dylan.
I don't fucking know.
You're thinking of the movie his dad was in.
Martin
Oh.
Sheen.
Apocalypse
Martin
Now.
Sheen.
I
Yes.
think the
No.
big red one.
Anyway, I'm gonna say Al Pacino because he seems like he would have been kind of old at that point for that role. Maybe, I don't know.
Wasn't the first answer Johnny Cash?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Johnny Cash is such a weird answer that I can't pick it. You know what I mean? Like that's so out of left field. If I'm wrong and the answer is Johnny Cash, then that's fine. I accept that. But it's such
All
a
right.
weird left field answer that I can't pick it.
So I'm gonna fully allow you guys to give me shit, but I think I saw something about the answer to this one.
That wasn't offered the role. I think I'll say Charlie Sheen. It just doesn't really seem like his type of role, to be honest.
All right. So I did read something about this when looking at the movie. I think it's Al Pacino because they originally wanted Chaz Palmiotti, however you pronounce his name. Now I feel bad for shitting on Dylan. They always wanted him for Kujan, but there was a time where he was unavailable, so they brought in, I think it was like Christopher Walken, Robert De Niro, and Al Pacino, but Al Pacino had just done Heat, so he didn't want to play the hard-ass cop in like 2 straight movies. So I
Could you
think it's
imagine?
I think it's Al Pacino.
So,
Could you imagine Christopher Walken in this movie, like interrogating him?
hey,
Could you imagine
so-
Christopher Walken in a scene with Kevin Pollak doing Christopher Walken?
Hey, you know how you got the murderer is you put 3 guys in a jail cell, and overnight, when one of them he goes to sleep, and that's your guy.
The movie would be exponentially longer. It'd be like 2.5 hours.
The correct answer is Al Pacino.
Dang.
Ben, I think he had bits and pieces. Al Pacino was offered the role of Dave Kujan, but turned it down to do Heat.
Oh, it was turned down to
He
do
was-
Heat?
He had to decide, because he was
Okay.
playing basically the same character in each one. Heat, he turns it up a little more. He turns up the heat a little bit more.
Hey.
Hey,
I still agree, though. I would have.
But yeah,
loved to
Christopher
see,
Walken was offered the role of Redfoot. So was Johnny Cash. So was Charlie Sheen. There's a lot of people that turned it down.
Weird. Like, it's such like a minor role too that I don't know. I feel like a cameo like Johnny Cash would have fucking sucked.
Yeah.
I don't know how that would have worked. I'm still never going to get over now thinking of Christopher Walken sitting reading all those things.
All right, so
He
it's,
was dead long enough for the murder rap to blow over. And then he had lunch.
This watch shoved it up my ass.
so-
You see,
Who
That
is
watch.
Kaiser
Put it in my
Soze?
ass. Oh, we gotta
Keaton
do Pulp Fiction.
is Kaiser Soze.
All right. Cameron is still in the lead with 2 points, and we have a tie with 1 point apiece, Ben and Dylan. Question number 3. I wasn't going to ask this one until I started hearing the banter during the podcast. Now I know I have to ask this. So the lineup scene was originally written to be played straight, but Benicio Del Toro kept making everybody laugh, so they decided to take it in that direction for the film. How did Del Toro keep cracking up the crew? Was it A, his accent was really hard to understand? B, he kept screwing up his lines? Or C, he couldn't stop farting?
I'm going to go last because I know the answer to this one.
I was gonna say, Ben, we should work together to get this into a runoff here, but
That's collusion.
You guys are going to love the tiebreaker. If we
Man,
get to it, you'll love
I
it.
feel like it'd be such a meme if he was just farting all over the place. I feel like the first one is the obvious answer, so I don't want to pick that. The second one seems plausible but boring. I don't know. You know what? I'm going to go with the meme answer and say he was just farting a lot.
We've gotten a lot of Cam logic in this trivia. I like it.
Well, again, like, I don't know.
A lot of deduction.
I'm kind of metagaming here, and I think that I'm kind of thinking what you would put in here. Although then again, I think if I remember correctly, there was farting in Hubie Halloween trivia. So
I also just want to note that Cameron's logic is Al Pacino is too old to play a character that Johnny Cash is not too old to play.
Okay,
So,
again,
let's just
again,
remember
with
that
that
was
one.
the logic.
Again, with that one, Johnny Cash is so weird out there to me that
He couldn't
that
stop
couldn't
farting.
that
is
couldn't
it?
have not been the answer. That couldn't have been the answer.
There's degrees of memeage.
Yeah.
Cameron's not buying
It's
something.
like I also, if in a vacuum, I also would have thought Johnny Cash would be too old at that point, but at the same time, it's so out of left field that I could not have picked that answer. So anyway, that dude was shitting and farting.
oh, Ben knows the answer apparently, so I guess I'll go. So he won't
Dude,
give me any help.
It's shitting and farting. I don't know what to tell you.
I'm gonna say he couldn't remember his lines. I think he. I mean, it's only one line, but he couldn't remember it exactly, and he just kept fucking it up. I think.
No, Cameron went 3 for 3. He couldn't stop shitting and farting, to quote Cameron.
That is
Yes.
correct. Yes, he could not stop farting on
What?
set.
I knew that before you even gave the multiple choice. I was like, "Oh, Zach, don't give the multiple choice." And then you
Nice.
did it, and I was sad.
Yeah. I had 2 tiebreakers. One is really good. The other one is hard.
Okay. Well, we can hear him for shiggles.
Always down for shit.
How many times? This is closest without going over, obviously. How many times has Ghostface Killah of the Wu-Tang Clan sampled lines from The Usual Suspects?
Wow. 10? I guess I'll say 10.
Is it just in his solo work, or is it with the
Just in
Wu-Tang
his
Clan?
solo work.
Okay.
I'll say 10.
Not with the
I
Wu.
don't know. There's a lot. I feel like there's a lot of lines that would be sampleable,
Yeah.
able to be sampled. I don't know, from this movie.
Especially with the Wu-Tang Clan, they do a lot of samples.
Like they talk about the devil and shooting people in the back and like I don't know. This
Is that what
stuff.
you think the Wu-Tang Clan is?
No, I'm
Those
just saying,
damn
like, I just
members
feel
of
like
the
there's a
Wu-Tang
lot of
Clan talking
things-
about the devil.
No, I'm
What is
just
there,
saying,
like
I don't know.
36 of them?
I'm just saying if I was gonna sample this movie, that's what I would use. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Is if I were sampling this, I would use those types of quotes. That's all.
Oh, what a Karen answer.
Come on, that's not fair. Not a fair characterization.
Cameron, Karen's way to the win.
I have no clue. I don't know if I've ever listened to any solo work by Ghostface Killah, so I couldn't really give a good guess, but I will say 26.
Oh, you
Whoa.
bitch. I was going to say 25, and I feel like
Oh,
now I would have
damn.
needed to change my answer.
No.
I don't know. That seems like a ton. That seems like every song he would do.
But I
have
feel
a
like he
fucking-
might. Isn't Ghostface Killah kind of like... Isn't he kind of a nerd? Like IRL?
They all
Or
are.
A lot of them were? Yeah.
Dude, yeah, like RZA fucking loves like kung fu movies.
Yeah.
That's why like half their albums have fucking like Shaolin master and stuff.
The Knights of Shaolin. So the answer is only 2.
It's so low.
On the Soul
What the
Controller, Ghostface Killah samples Verbal Kint's line, "The greatest trick the devil ever pulled
Told
was
you, the
convincing
devil
the world
quote.
he didn't
I
exist."
told you.
And like that,
I
he's
was
gone.
not wrong.
And
That
the
name
other one,
Wu-Tang rapping about the devil.
he samples the argument between McManus, well, not really an argument, but the yelling back and forth between McManus and Keaton on Assassination Day about there being no cocaine on board the ship.
Oh, interesting.
Makes sense. I guess saying. As I've
The
never
the
listened
last
to
trivia
Wu-Tang.
question was, how many different people play Kaiser Soze in the film?
Ooh.
Oh.
5?
My guess is 4. Because Kevin Spacey, whatever the other dude,
Yep.
and then I think
That guy.
what? Well, the guy that got killed. I just don't remember his name.
Keaton, Gabriel Byrne.
Sure. Then the
Ben's a
thin
fucking
guy
nerd.
that he said actually did it, and there may have been one more at the very beginning. I don't remember, so I'm gonna say 4.
I think you're right with the 3. The fourth one, I think, is actually Bryan Singer himself played Kaiser Soze from the back shot. 'Cause
Interesting.
They had to do like a reshoot or something, so he stood in for it.
Weird.
You guys just should have worked together. Gabriel Byrne was one. Bryan
Yep.
Singer was another. Kevin
Yep.
Spacey, obviously.
Yep.
The composer, John Ottman. And there was an extra.
Oh, so they're 5.
Yep.
Oh, interesting. That's close. We were close.
So those of us who have seen this film, we hold some nostalgia in our hearts, maybe, and so we're gonna rate them before based on what we thought going in, and then now we're gonna give you our new ratings. So, Cam, you're gonna go first since this is season 2 and you have not seen this film before.
I haven't.
So, what did you think of The Usual Suspects?
I really enjoyed this movie. I do like crime movies and TV shows in general, so I think this was kind of up my alley. But I really enjoyed the movie. Other than the fact that like I said, I must have like heard it at some point in time, but like other than like kind of expecting Kevin Spacey to be Kaiser Sose at the end, I imagine if you're going into this completely fresh, like, you know, first time in the theater maybe, or right after it comes out, the movie takes you to lots of different places, and it kind of keeps you guessing about what the real story is. Because, you know, he's telling the story the whole time, but that's not like the real story. Like the real story is that he's obviously Kaiser Sose, and that there's this whole, it's almost like a meta story above the story he's telling, basically. And so I thought that was a really cool angle to take. So I'm going to give this one an 8 out of 10. I really liked it. Problematic that there are 2 people involved that really suck, but it still was a good movie nonetheless.
Going in, I gave this movie an 8 out of 10 as well. It's one I like. It's neo-noir, crime, thriller, which are things that really, like Cameron, kind of fall in line with me. Everyone gives a great performance. I like the kind of whodunit aspect to it. But on a second viewing, I'm going to drop it down to a 7. I still like it. I think some of it is a little hard for me to like. I don't know. Like, one of the big things I found was Keaton. Like, his accent, I felt like kept going in and out, and it just bothered me. Like, he's Irish or something, right? And he would like.
I have no idea.
Yes, the actual actor's Irish, but
Oh,
he'd
okay.
like talk sometimes, and it wouldn't sound that thick of an accent, and then it would just come out. And I don't know if he's supposed to be Irish in the movie or what, but that just kind of bothered me. And
I mean,
that's
with a
like
name
the smallest.
Keaton, he's not Irish.
It's like the smallest complaint in
there
the world,
somewhere.
but like one of those just kind of bothered me, and I feel like it leans very heavily into the like untrustworthy like narrator, which this is probably one of the earlier movies to do it, but I feel like it's a huge trope now. That kind of detracts from me. I don't know. That's my take. 7 out of 10. Sticking to it.
I really enjoy this movie. For a lot of the reasons you guys have already said. I think that this is one of those movies where if you can go into it knowing nothing about it, not knowing the twist, it hits you like a shit ton of bricks. If you don't know the ending, I remember the first time I watched it, and I knew Kevin Spacey was in it, and I knew Kevin Spacey was like a big actor. And I'm watching the movie and I'm like, I don't really like his performance. He seems like just kind of a weak guy. Like, it doesn't seem like a very good job playing that weak guy. And then at the end, the twist comes in. You're like, no, he's not actually. That's a role within the role he's playing. I love the whole give me the end of the story and then let's reel it back and see what actually happened. So I gave it an 8 out of 10, and I'm going to leave it as an 8 out of 10.
I think we're just gonna 8 out of 10 this bad boy all around. It's
Except for me, my 7 out of 10.
You're a bitch.
Got him. No halvesies this time, boys. Proud of you.
Yeah, I think the first time you see this movie, yeah, that twist really hits you. I think on repeat viewings, it does kind of lose something, the fact that you know it's coming, but it's the fact that you can try to kind of look for the things that might tip you off to it. I mean, especially the very first line is just a dead giveaway if you've seen the movie. I thought the actors are great. Like we talked about, ensemble cast, even with Singer and Spacey being shitbag people, this entire cast just does such a good job, and it's a movie I'll definitely probably go back. It's one of those kind of movies. Like, I don't know what to watch. This is a movie I could watch again.
If you guys enjoyed this, don't forget to rate and subscribe. Check out our Instagram at Cocktails and Classics Pod. Use the hashtag Cocktails and Classics to send us your movie and drink recommendations. Don't forget to check out there. Watch our cool little recipe videos, our little clips that we do. We post those to TikTok as well because we're hip and cool, right, guys?
We're with the youths.
Guys, not gonna lie, our social media game is dope as fuck.
I also do want to point out that the cocktail videos are better than the quality of these podcasts, so you should definitely go check those out.
Our social media output is the highest quality thing we do, by far.
For sure.
Yeah. We usually
Our
post
content
like
here
2
is trash.
times.
The social media is way better.
I have
So
a
if you think
full-time
this
job.
is good?
I have a full-time job in that Cocktails and Classics social media that Dylan runs blows me out of the water.
Yeah. So if you go to the socials, you get the best like 60-second clip of the whole episode. So
Or
just
maybe
listen
the
to
most
that. And it's
sexual
like,
Don't tell them
thing.
the secret. Don't tell them the secret. Don't tell them that. There's more. There are more good nuggets. Okay, it's
We're
not
like,
just that. It's not
we're
just
like,
the 60-second clip.
Our social media is like a trailer for a Judd Apatow movie.
You get all the best parts, and you don't have to actually watch the movie.
Yeah.
So share us with your friends. Leave a review. Apple is like the big one. It would really help us out. Follow us.
Make like 10
Subscribe.
accounts. Go like our podcast review.
Yeah, just spam it with some bots and
No.
share us with your friends. Follow, rate, subscribe, rate, review.
All right, I'm out.
Apple, Spotify. Watch responsibly. Come back next time. Love you. Bye.